really nice too is that this thing kind of turned into a great accidental vehicle because I have been, like I said, lucky enough to do all this voiceover stuff, Rustin, and I'm able to manipulate my voice into sounding like a lot of different things. And with this project, what's really cool is we had to walk a line, because we never wanted to become like a Vegas act where it's like, oh, watch the singing impressionist, And
what's wrong with Vegas?
Vegas is fantastic. But it's like, well, we don't want to turn into that. But at the same time, when you're singing Guns N' Roses, it's kind of cool to get a little bit of Axl flavor in there. When you're singing Motley, it's kind of cool to get a little bit of Vince Neil flavor. And obviously the Steve Perry thing and all these other, great singers. And so it was kind of cool for me because I was like, now, okay, how can I capture the essence of that without trying to be a clone of that, And sometimes I would actually make little melody changes and stuff that I took a lot of pride in figuring out. And, just kind of adjusting the sound of the vocals to suit the individual songs. So even that kind of adds to the party. I mean, that's another thing.
I'm just going to interrupt for a second. Jesse's so good at mimicking, some of these singers that at times I had to come up to him and say, it sounds way too much like Axl. You could tone it down a little bit, or Axl's going to freak out. Because I don't remember ever singing that.
Well, in this show, I'm going to teach people how to imitate Axl Rose, which is really simple because all you got to do is do this. Like you say, ask me this. How do you feel, Axl?
How do you feel, Axl?
I feel fire. Dude, it's like, ask me what time it is.
What time is it?
9:15. See what I mean? You can just do this all day long. It's just really easy, man.
Yeah, as long as the sentence ends with I.
No, but even then, that is good, but that's even better. Like if you say, I'm a guy. I mean, you can do whatever you want. See, but there's little tricks and things that you come up with when you're doing this stuff. But we really did. We had to maintain a level of quality, and hopefully, I think we did that. And a lot of people are even saying that the songs sound like so much fresher just because they were recorded 20 years later than the originals, and yet we didn't sacrifice the quality or the integrity of the original songs.
You can steal Axl's voice anyway because he basically stole all of his moves from Richard Black from Shark Island, who, if you probably know Richard. So.
I have heard that bandied about before. Everybody. I mean, we're all melting pots. It's like everybody. If you're a singer, if you're a guitar player, whatever it is that you do, what you should be doing is you take in all the greats and you see what they do, and you kind of digest that. You put it all into a giant blender and you mix something new up and you pour yourself into it too.
Yeah, if you're not stealing something from somebody now, dude,
then you're lying.
You're missing out, and you're lying.
True. There's nothing new in rock and roll.
Yeah, it's just that we're proving that. We're just trying to create new flavors out of flavors that already were good.
Yeah, like orange and grape, and you get a new flavor.
There you go.
You get a rape. A rape.
Take it easy.
I have to ask. Normally, my question here to the guys is Jessica Biel or Jessica Alba, or for the really sick ones, Jessica Simpson. But for you guys, being where you've been for the last 20 years, Marianne or Ginger?
Oh, that's a good one, Chucky.
Definitely Marianne.
Yeah. See, now I've always been more of a Ginger guy, but I got to tell you, there's something about Mrs. Howell's wallet that is very
You're a sick man, and I love you for it.
we love you too, brother.
The two big questions I get most when I've been talking about you guys and spreading the gospel of rock sugar, the first one is, are they for real, or is it a spoof? Sort of like the whole Steel Panther thing.
It's absolutely not a spoof. It's like, and even Steel Panther, I mean, those guys are great, and we love them. It's like they do a lot of comedy in their show, between songs and stuff like that. But when they play like they mean it, and it's like, I think it would be a spoof if we were trying intentionally to be funny. We definitely want it to be kind of funny, but more funny in terms of being absurd, like we're singing Madonna to AC/DC.
Right.
I mean, the idea of that is absurd, but ideally, if things go well, then what happens is, you have two reactions. There are three or maybe more. The song starts, and you think you're going to hear an AC/DC song, right? Well, then the vocal starts, and it's Madonna. And your first thought is, oh my God, that's freaking Madonna. This is insane. This is ridiculous. This is funny. And then 15 seconds after that, hopefully you're going, but you know what? This sounds really cool. That's the plan, and that's hopefully what we have managed to achieve. And a lot of people have said that very thing. So if the answer to that's like, well, is this a spoof or is this serious? It's like, it's absolutely not serious, but it's absolutely not a spoof because we, like I said, we love this stuff and we're doing it with honor and integrity and the fact that we think it's, some of the greatest music that was ever written, and we're trying to present it with as much love and care and quality as we can, but at the same time, we completely get that what we're doing is a little nuts, and that's one of the things that we like best about it.
Yeah, and the truth is in the spoof.
That's nice.
So to speak, because, like somebody emailed me a few days ago, and they're like, hey, man, I read you guys' bios, and I really want to learn the truth about you guys. And I wrote back saying, the truth is in the bio. I mean, a lot of stuff in there that's absolutely true. And if you read through, you'll be like, oh, I wonder if that's true. Then you'll have to Google and, do a little research and stuff. But it's fun. It's like a big game,
Exactly.
And,
you're right, dude. That's a great point. Because with the bios, we tried to make them funny. But a lot of those things are based in fact. So, yeah, I remember when we did that. I have forgotten.
Exactly. And the whole story, it's like, we were like, how can we tell people why we're doing this?
Yeah.
And put it in a story so that they can at least be entertained and not be bored by somebody going, well, what happened was we became geniuses and we were sitting there and having shots and we came up with this amazing idea. And it's like, we're like, let's create a cool story.
Right.
Let's create a cool story that people can go, wow. And the concept in and of itself, a 13-year-old girl's little pop collection and all the freaking rock shit that we love.
Right, and these guys basically being stuck listening to nothing but pop. And if you read the story, they were such a hardcore, bunch of metalheads, and the last thing in the world that they probably would have listened to was pop records. But then when they did, they were probably like, after a while, they're like, you know what, this isn't half bad, and now they think it's great, and they think that Sheena Easton is the high priestess of metal.
Totally.
So it's like it's tongue in cheek, but at the same time, it's like hopefully you'll listen to a minute of it, and after you're done giggling, you'll start going, wow, you know what, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, see, I call it tongue in cheek.
Yeah, tongue in cheek is nice.
There you go. I like
that too.
There you go. But well, you guys are sort of the musical equivalent, if you will, of the old Reese's peanut butter cup commercials.
Exactly, dude. Yeah.
That's exactly it. Great way of putting it.
You got Metallica in my journey. You got Journey in my Metallica.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other question I always get is, are these guys really playing this stuff? Because Jess can do the voices so well, mimic it and everything, and the music is so well played. Everybody thinks that you literally took both songs and in the studio created this without any actual work on your part other than editing. We obviously know that's not true.
That is the furthest thing from the truth.
But I got to tell you, and I'll definitely want Chucky to comment on this too. First of all, Russ, and I want to thank you for asking that question because we probably would have forgotten to bring it up, and it is important because there have been a lot of people that are saying, they must have taken, this from this record and this from this record, and how did they get it to, to lay over it like that, and all this stuff. And it's like, no, the truth is, and we put it in the liner notes of the CD, it's like every single note on that record was played or sung by us. There's no samples. There's no lifts from other records of any kind. It's like everything that is on there was played and sung by this band.
And we didn't record both songs and then edit the two together.
No.
We sat down and we worked our little brains off and we arranged. We took both songs and arranged them into one.
Exactly.
And to make it work.
And the way that happened was really great. Some of my favorite memories of making the record is, Chuck is a great songwriter, and I've always really enjoyed writing songs with Chuck. And if anybody out there has any of the Loud and Clear records, hopefully you like those songs, and they're still really good rock songs to this day. But, this was obviously a different kind of scenario because we weren't creating a brand new song from the ground up. But believe it or not, the sessions writing this stuff became very much like writing original tunes, because some of my favorite nights were me showing up at Chuck's studio, and he'd have an acoustic, and he'd just start playing things. And I'd say, well, what about if we laid this? Or he'd say, what about if we laid this? I think in the end, Chucky came up with like 8 of the combination ideas, and I came up with the other ones. But they all fell into his lap in terms of actually making them work, which was quite a feat to do. Because my job is basically easy. I show up and I pick up a mic stand and I start swinging it and singing it. You know what I mean? It's like Chuck had to figure out how to put the keys together, where to bridge one song from the next, how to make things flow, how to make them not sound jarring. And on a few of the songs, it was quite a task, and therefore it's quite an achievement that he made it work as well as it did.
Come on, babe, it's like a little bell.